Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you are not doing well, I am happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. So I'm going to need you to use your imagination to follow me with this one. So imagine that life itself, everything you know about life is just a storybook, like a nice, thick fairy tale book. And from the time of being a baby up until now, you have been taught how to read that book. Like you were taught what everything in the book means. Like you were taught words. So you were taught this is a hand. You were taught this is the color brown. So you were taught this is a brown hand. You were taught things like, religion, things about nature. You were taught things about science. You were taught things about relationships. You were taught things about family. So in this storybook called life, you're able to see images and you're given words to go with those images, words to identify with those images. And after a while, you become mature enough to add to the story that you were given. But what if the story that you were given doesn't really work for you? It's like, what if the story that you were given, the story that you've been adding to for years, basically was contributing to a reality that doesn't serve you, that doesn't make sense to you? Like, what if the more you mature and you question this reality, it's like it's not adding up? And that's because it's just a story. Like everything in our reality was given a name. And of course, our belief in that name and our contribution to the vibration of that name activates those words and give them life. It's like every word can be broken down to a letter, and every word is consisted of letters, and every letter is associated with a number, and every number carries a vibration, and that vibration is activated by our identification with those numbers, what they mean to us, and us just knowing that that's what that number means, or believing that is what that number means. It activates it and give it life. So in this fairy tale storybook called life, everything, it has a name, and that name plays a part in how would I put it, how that thing presents itself in this physical realm and how it manifests in our everyday life. So if this reality is just a story, and it is, because almost basically ask yourself, how much of what you believe in do you know from personal experience that you have actually seen, witnessed, and tested for yourself to know for an absolute fact? Not the kind of fact that is a collective agreement, the kind of fact that you are given and told that is a fact. Like nowadays, you have fact checkers deciding what facts are, and the fact checkers today to me are a perfect example of what a fact actually is. It is a collective agreement from those who are the authority, those who have the power to say that this is what something is, those who control the information, those who control the media. They get to decide what facts are from what they are not. Because as authority, the more they keep sharing that information, and the more of us believe in it and sign on it, it becomes what it is. So it's like the majority is saying this is what something is. So when the minority, the lesser ones disagree, basically it's like they were outvoted by the collective agreement. So anyways, back to what I'm trying to say. In this reality, you are given a story. Everything around you, you are told a story about. Like, say for example, those who are Capricorns, Tauruses, or associated with the number 8, whether you're born on the 8th or a life path number 8. Like, people associated with that energy struggles a lot when it comes to tradition, in the sense that those are the people who takes on the responsibility to grab the baton. So say this is a race, they grab the baton and they pass it. So say the baton is really a scroll listed of how things are supposed to be. So basically they will take on, the responsibility. It's like a teacher collecting the curriculum and then sharing it with the students, opposed to an individual sharing personal experience, and saying, this is my personal experience. Your personal experience might be different, but hopefully my personal experience might inspire you to trust your personal experience. Instead, we are given, this is how it is and this is how it's supposed to be. So basically, basically fit in this box. Like, you're a circle, this is a square, figure out how to fit in the square. So yeah, energy like Taurus, Capricorn, the number 8 energy, and to a certain extent Aquarius struggle with this also because of like Saturn energy. But basically these are the energies that are associated with the way things are supposed to be, the ones who holds the tradition strongly or feels burdened to carry out a tradition, to carry out lifestyles, carry out past realities that don't quite make sense to them. So these are the energies that sometimes struggle with paving a path for themselves. And the number 4 energy, I'll put the number 4 in it too. The number 4, the number 6 in it too, and the number 2. The reason why I'm putting these energies in it, because these are energies that identify with the physical reality for the most part. So we'll struggle with bringing on traditions that they don't fully, completely unify with on a personal experience, but it is the internal programming that carries that sense of responsibility to move this information forward. So the information that we are collectively moving forward, like the story that we're building up on, is just the story. And the sooner we realize that it is just a story and we have the authority, we have the authority over our own lives to recreate the kind of stories that make sense to us. It's like the person who basically follows tradition and gets married to the kind of mate that is socially acceptable when it comes to their family, their community, and everything that they were told, but they're completely miserable because it just doesn't feel right to them, because, their loved ones may have told them this is the way it's supposed to be. And basically they themselves live that life, but never checked in with themselves to see if if it actually was worth it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing with the person who takes on the career just to kind of make their family happy, the career to be accepted, and find themselves miserable because after doing everything that they were told they were supposed to do, it just doesn't feel right. And once you've come to that point, like, it's actually a blessing, because it's like you have to hit the ground to be able to start, building your way back up. So you build your way back up by creating a new story for yourself, a story that makes sense to you, a story that brings you joy, the kind of story that when you are an old person and basically only thing you can do is relax and reflect, you will reflect back on a life that was filled with joy, that was filled with moments that you created on your own terms, not on the terms of anyone else, not because what society says we should or we shouldn't do, but you created based on what was in your heart. You created based on what felt true to you. And of course, like in this moment, You might feel a sense of peace and clarity from the message. And it is normal that an hour from now or 2 hours from now, that wears off. Because like building muscles in the gym, it's something that you have to consistently work on. So it's important that you know that there is not a one size fits all when it comes to anything, and that no one or nothing has all the answers. If you resonate with me and my messages, that is because somewhere within you that basically something within you is activated or reminded of what you already know. So to resonate with something is to remember. I am not telling you nothing that you don't already know for yourself, and it's just a matter of remembering. So yeah, when I say that you are the writer, you're the director, and you're the actor, that's an actual fact. But for the most part, we have been conditioned to write stories for outside sources, to write stories that puts us in positions that we don't want to be in. So here we are writing and directing stories that we have to act out. That is painful, miserable, and depressing. All you have to do is rewrite your story. And it's not going to be easy when it comes to rewriting your story, because your own inner voice is going to always question you. Your own inner voice is going to keep telling you that, are you sure you're doing the right thing? What will this person think? What will that person think? You have to become aware of that voice and know that it is there. After a while of becoming aware of it and knowing that it is there, it isn't as loud. It doesn't have the power that it normally has. It doesn't have the influence that it normally has. After a while, it's like, it's that voice again. And you push past it because it is just a voice. It is the voice of the ones who loves you. It is the voice of the ones who try to protect you. Out of fear, they tried to guide you in a direction that they thought was best for you. And that was their thoughts. But nothing good comes from fear. Fear is not of God. Fear is the opposite of God. So anything that you do out of fear, just know that is not in alignment with who you are, what you represent. Who you are and what you represent is love, abundance, appreciation, something that is constantly growing in value. And fear is the opposite of that. So when it comes to your reality, take a look at your reality and ask yourself, what do I like about my reality? What would I like to keep building on when it comes to this story? And when it comes to my reality, what about my story do I not like? Like maybe when it comes to my story, I don't like the insecurity that I feel, because there's no reason to feel insecure, because to feel insecure, that means my inner world is unstable, and my inner world is very stable, because my inner world is the truest part of who I am. So, I don't like that part of the story. So let me start building on my inner world. And I build on my inner world by building on my intuition, by building on my imagination, because my imagination is what communicates my intuition. So the thing about this story, called life, what's interesting is that everything is meant to redirect us from within. And within is the realest part of our reality, because it is from within we are creating our reality. So when everything outside of us is influencing us through fear, we are creating our outer reality through the fear that we are experiencing in our inner world. So the foods that we eat, the media, everything is meant to, cause us to feel fear or insignificant. And when we feel afraid and insignificant, we feel powerless, and we give other people control over our lives so we can feel safe. We become slaves in the process of trying to get rid of fear, when all we have to do to get rid of fear is realize that there is nothing to fear. The biggest thing that most of us fear is death. And how do you fear something that you don't understand? Like, they use death to scare us. because they make it seem like it is the end. And there's no such thing as the end in this reality. Like, you can look out in nature and see that things are like, basically nature is nothing but love and abundance. And love is appreciation. So when you are in love with someone, you are constantly appreciating them. And when something appreciates, it is constantly gaining value. So when you are in love with someone, you are constantly seeing value in them. And when you look out in nature, nature is constantly growing in value. Everything in nature is appreciating, growing in value. Even that tree that falls down and is breaking down and decomposing, it is fertilizing the soil. It is giving value to something else. And then that thing that grows from the fertilization of the tree also has the DNA of the tree within it. So the tree never dies in the process of giving love, of showing appreciation, giving value. So when it comes to death and life, basically when you go inside yourself, and inside ourselves is where we will find the 99% of visible light that is missing from our physical view as humans. Because as humans, we can only perceive less than 1% of visible light. So that means everything that you can see right now in your physical reality is less than 1% of visible light. So that means there's more than 99% of what is happening around you that you cannot see. So there are beings around you right now that you cannot see. And I'm sure some of you have sensed energy around you and felt pretty creeped out because there's a battle of the senses. Because the 5 senses that you were taught to pay attention to cannot see what you are feeling from within, because it is from within you can perceive the 99% of what is actually happening around you. So that means the less than 1% that we can see, which is all physicality, is like so tiny compared to what is actually happening here. So basically, we were giving this storybook, this fairy tale called This Physical Reality. We were given a storybook that has, that was pretty much written and programmed to keep writing the same stories over and over and over again. Where if you go within yourself, which is where you create the story from, you will realize that there is so much more going on in this reality that we cannot see with our physical eyes. And at this moment, some of us cannot understand with our brains because of our conditioning. But the more you go inside yourself, and you go inside yourself by feeling, allowing yourself to feel, and allowing your imagination to communicate to you what you are feeling and perceiving around you. And don't judge it. Just observe it and leave it alone and see what happens. But when it comes to creating your reality, we get to choose the kind of vibrations we are holding in this moment. So when we hear things like, oh, this is the moment that matters and nothing else, that is the absolute fact. Because in this moment, I am creating the reality for my next moment in this physical reality. Because the vibration that I'm holding in this moment, like a magnet, is attracting more that is like it to me. So if I'm sad in this moment, I am attracting more sadness to me. So do you want to be sad tomorrow? If you don't want to be sad tomorrow, be happy in this moment. And it is so simple to be happy in this moment, because being happy is a choice. And sometimes we are so stuck in a dense, negative, sad vibration that feeling happy seems impossible. But it is so possible, because what they don't teach us is that the way how to shake up negative vibration is by laughter and movement. So find something that makes you laugh. I bet you any amount of money. Once you laugh real hard, and I mean laugh real hard, pay attention to how that negative vibration leaves you. And if you are careless, your mind, like magnet that's often attracted to negativity, will find something else to pull you back into that negative energy. And then again, you're back drowning in those negative thoughts of the stories that you've been telling yourselves, the lies you've been conditioned to tell yourselves, the lies that you've been conditioned to keep going in order to tell stories on someone else's behalf, in order to manifest against your own will and keep yourself prisoner. So the thing is that we don't realize is that in this realm, we are the most powerful. And so when I say you are the most powerful person that you know, that is not just a line. That is not just saying something just to say it. That is a reality. That is from my own personal experience. You are the most powerful person that you know, because in this moment, if you choose to be sad, no one can make you happy. You are the most powerful person that you know because you are creating your reality. So if I choose to be happy and abundant in this moment, my next moment will be happy and abundant because I am attracting happiness and abundance to me. And if I fall off and get stuck in a negative vibration, all I have to do is wake up in that moment and stop blindly daydreaming and drifting off and allowing my own sad thoughts to carry me into more and more and more and more sad and depressing moments. All I have to do is wake up in that moment and realize, shit, I'm sad right now. Shit, I'm depressed right now. Shit, I'm pissed off right now. And the way how you wake up in that moment is by how you're feeling. If you're not feeling good, something good isn't going on within your mind. And if you're not in the position in that moment to journal and get to the bottom of what it is and just give it your attention without judgment, because those emotions represent experiences that we've once had, and those experiences has left an emotional imprint, and different things that we see in our everyday life triggers that feeling, and we go back to that sunken place. We go back to that sad place, and then we dwell on it and continue to build on it. But just by observing your feelings and paying attention to how you feel, wake up in the moment and realize, shit, I feel like shit right now. So like I said, if you're not able to journal and become a witness and get to the bottom of it, then put on some comedy to shake the vibration for the moment. But you cannot ignore something that needs your attention, because that imprint is like a child that just wants to play. When a child wants to play, the more you ignore that child, the more determined that child is to get your attention. And sometimes it can get ugly where it turns into a kicking and a screaming and a crying mess. But if you are willing to give into that child and just stop and play just for a second, before you know it, they will get so bored of playing cars or playing Lego or playing Tea Party with you and quickly move on to something else. And that is the same as those emotions that are imprinted within us. All we have to do is witness them. Don't judge them. Don't add to them. Don't take away from them. Don't tell yourself that you shouldn't feel the jealousy that you're feeling right now. Just witness it. Just witness it. I bet you after a while, it doesn't have power over you when you keep just being a witness. Just be a witness. So when it comes to the story that we call life, you have the ability to create the kind of story that you want to have, because this is really just a story. From the beginning, you have been given a story about life and you've been conditioned to add to this story. So now let's say fuck it and throw out all the pages of a pre-written story that was already written for us by those who give us the information and manipulate our emotions and our ability to write for ourselves and cause us to manifest on their behalf. Let's now write the stories that fits what we deserve. And nature will show you what you deserve. You deserve abundance. You deserve all the greatest things that life has to offer. So here now, you start to write the kind of story that makes sense to you. You write the story that fits the kind of life that you want to live and not the life that anyone else wants you to live. So when you are past the baton, And it is your job to pass it along and eventually get it to someone else from the younger generation, someone else from the future. You know, in the meantime, open up that baton and look at the scroll that is inside of it and ask yourself, am I happy with passing everything along that is in here? Or will I take some things out because based on my personal experience, those things don't work for me? Based on my personal experience, those things are a bunch of bullshit. So I'm going to cross them off, and based on my own personal experience, I'm going to add to this scroll what I have learned, what makes sense to me. And I'm also going to leave a note for the next person that they are the most powerful person that they know, because only they can create their reality. But in this scroll, in this baton, is some notes based on my own personal experience. The same way how Jesus, Buddha, and the other prophets left us notes on how to find Christ consciousness, how to find peace, how to liberate ourselves. And all of them kept pointing within. That's why every time God spoke, people were alone. Because when you are alone, you are forced to go within. You are not distracted by outside sources. But of course, in our reality, we are given foods and entertainment and things to take us from inside of ourselves when we are alone. But with your awareness, you know, you can realize basically that that is happening, and allow yourself to go within and perceive the 99% of reality that is actually happening around you. Be the Illuminati, the illuminated one, and see what's actually happening, because you can't see, those who can see are using what they can see to control you. But if you can see and you can shine light on what you're actually seeing, then no one can control you and manipulate you in the dark. And you get to hold the light for someone else, to be the light for them so they can see what they cannot see. And the way how you get them to see what they can't see, by pointing them within, telling them to trust themselves, trust what they feel, trust their intuition, trust their emotions. When it don't make sense, don't disregard it, don't judge it, just leave it alone, because in time, it will present itself. In time, enough practicality will come about to help you to better understand what it is that you are feeling on a deeper level. If you are still here with me, I am super happy to hear that. Please let me know by dropping me a green heart. Green is the color that represents love, because in nature you will see an abundance of love appreciation, things that are constantly gaining value. So yes, drop me a green heart in the comment box below, because I would love to hear from you. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.